Hey friends! Don't worry, our faves from Stranger Things are not actually dead. They're just being held hostage inside the mind of Vecna. At least according to a season 5 fan theory. Like every other Stranger Things fanatic, I am just sitting here itching and twiddling my thumbs for season 5 and its release date of God knows when. There's been quite a few delays in production with the SAG-AFTRA writer's strike, as well as the actors taking on other projects. Season 5 has actually started filming. And according to the beautiful and talented Maya Hawke, the episodes are going to be more like 8 movies rather than 8 episodes of a TV show. Now, of course, this kind of thing is nothing new, because Stranger Things has always been notorious for taking its time producing the next season, which on one hand is great because it shows the Duffer Brothers' dedication and love for this show, and really put their heart and soul into creating plot lines that will make sense and hopefully be received well by the audience. But at the same time, the more time a production takes, a series or movie sequel that has cultivated a high success rate, the more crazy fan theories get tossed around, become viral, and possibly influence the writing process. If the theory itself gets that far, which in my personal opinion, I think played a role in why Steve hasn't been killed off. Now, don't get me wrong, I do not want Steve to die because children need their mothers. But I think if so many fans had not been rooting for Steve, appointing him the mom of the Hawkins kids, he would have been killed off. You're welcome to disagree respectfully. Anyway, there are so many theories out there about what Stranger Things season 5 is going to entail. Some of them are really good and some are just not possible. Their sense making is 0. So we're just gonna take a look at a handful and just see how ridiculous or likely it is to come true. And don't go yet, because I'm gonna hold you accountable for something at the end of this video. You're not allowed to click off. I'm just kidding, do what you want. But I'm just saying, if you're a cool one, you're gonna stay for this video. Anyway, enough yapping, let's dissect some of these bitches. It's just 10 theories out of the thousands of theories out there. Okay, so the first one is the one that I trapped you into watching this video with. Max is trapped inside Vecna's mind. Well, I said all of our faves. I didn't specifically say Max, but Max is among one of our faves. Because if you watch season 4, you know that it concluded with her being in a coma. She's practically a vegetable at this point. But if you want to be medically correct, she's brain dead. And as much as I want this to be true, I really don't think Max is coming back. I mean, I can see her still being in the hospital, hooked up to the monitors, at least the first half of season 5. But I can't see her fully coming to life again. And people are saying it's true with the rest of the dead characters who died an upside down related death. But it's like I was told growing up, when you're dead, you're dead. Y'all, come on. I hate to say this. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but we just gotta let these poor characters rest in peace and come out of our denial that no one can come back from the dead, regardless of what dimension the death took place in. So let's just mourn the losses and move on. Now, this one is basically saying that Karen Wheeler is Vecna's sister when Vecna was a living human and his name was Henry. That little girl from the flashback scene. If I remember correctly, didn't the sister die? I'm calling trash on that one. I mean, I definitely think that there's something unspoken about Karen Wheeler, like she's hiding some dark secret, but I'm not quite sure if it's Vecna related. But you know what? Hey, I could be wrong. Excuse me. Now, this one is saying that the Mind Flayer is the main force of all the evil and not Vecna. It reads as, the Mind Flayer is the main villain. The upcoming time jump is spent trying to close the large rips in between dimensions while things are dormant and both sides are recovering. The connection with Russia makes no sense if governments hadn't already been messing with gates. MK Ultra, Russia, Harrison trying to kill Elle and all the patients there needs its reasoning. A gate that was opened somewhere allowed the Mind Flayer ability to connect with Henry, creating his negative mind against our world. Henry also turns into Mind Flayer particles at the end of this season. The Mind Flayer was the puppet master the entire time, and that Elle and Kali will sacrifice themselves to save our world, closing any gates in the process, closing the potential for any of the lab kids from being around after. Now, I do think the Mind Flayer is the source of all evil doings in the show. Kali and Elle coming together to join forces to destroy the Mind Flayer once and for all. I don't really see that. I think it's going to be Elle and Will that do that. And I definitely think that one of them is going to die in the process. So yeah, I think it will be made clear that the Mind Flayer is in fact the big bad, as noted in this theory. So number 4, Eddie will return. Okay, you know, like I was saying before, when you're dead, you're dead. Eddie is dead, y'all. These characters are dead, y'all. But you know, I mean, I loved Eddie too as much as all of y'all, and I don't want to rule it out either. So let's just see what this theory entails. So as everyone knows, the creatures in the Upside Down are portrayed as characters in Dungeons and Dragons. And the description of these characters in the Upside Down are pretty accurate in the creatures in D&D. Okay, well, I've never played D&D, but I do know that there are parallels between the landscape and environment of the Upside Down and the one of Dungeons and Dragons. Eddie is not dead. The Duffer brothers have said that you cannot die from the bite of a bat. I have this theory that Eddie will become Kos, the vampire. He's another creature of D&D. Okay, thanks for the clarification. Kos is the right-hand man to Vecna. Kos eventually turns on Vecna and defeats him. Kos has a significant weapon, his sword, as well as a shield. I mean, yeah, I love vampires too, but the possibility of that is slim to none in my eyes. And yes, of course, it would be cool if Kos the vampire, being Vecna's right-hand man, betrays and kills his master, delivering the final blow. It would be pretty epic. I am in agreement with you there. So I have to sadly doubt this one. The introduction of Boris from the D&D lore. So this being is a villain of Dungeons and Dragons and is described as a giant dragon-like creature with red glowing scales like magma. It also lines up with Nancy's vision. That's Vecna. She's not seeing a dragon, she's seeing Vecna. And this theory is claiming that Vecna is going to become this dragon named Boris or Boris, I don't know how you pronounce it. Leave me alone. Number 6, Will gets possessed by Vecna again for old time's sake. Yep, I'm envisioning accuracy for that. I mean, that is if the Mind Flayer turns out to be not the big bad and it's actually Vecna. Henry and Will have overlapping similarities. You know, they're both really shy kids who don't really talk a lot and they're super sensitive. And in addition to that, they're theorizing that Will is going to become the villain of season 5. Doesn't sound too far-fetched to me at this point. I mean, he almost did. He almost did become the villain in season 2. And this theory goes on to say that Will has been dead this whole time. It suggests that he was killed in the Upside Down the day that he went missing and is now an extension of Vecna. I mean, it sounds legit to me, so I'm not going to be shocked if this turns out to be true because Will was never the same when he returned from the Upside Down. I mean, nobody's the same after trauma. Now, this one is saying that all of this, every episode, everything that we've seen so far in Stranger Things is all just actually a dream. That this whole entire show has been a visual presentation of the game that the boys are playing in the very beginning of the series, the D&D game. And that season 5 is going to end with the first scene of the first season when they're sitting in Mike's basement. I doubt that's true, so I'm not buying that one. Oh, this was Nancy's vision. I mean, okay, so I remember this scene, but I don't remember as Nancy's vision. It's been a long time, y'all. Hush! So they're saying that this kind of lava situation is some kind of monster. I mean, to me, it just looks like a backwards Armageddon. They say that because it's in the shape of the mouth of a Demogorgon. I don't see it. I just think the shit's on fire and that's it. This one says time travel will play a significant role in this story. That would be cool. I mean, there already was some time travel back in season 4 when Henry was messing around with the clock. But this theory is saying that if Vecna can do that, if he can do time travel, so can Elle. And Elle has the power to go back and fix this whole mess. I also think that that theory of Elle being Vecna's biological child is still up in the air. But if that does get confirmation to be true in this last season, then yes, she probably can time travel. Now, this last theory is stating that Will created a copy of Hawkins in the Upside Down, and that Vecna was able to see what he did and was so taken aback and was like,
oh, I could have an apprentice.
And that he becomes obsessed with Will, and that this whole time he's been torturing Will to get him onto his side and join forces with him to take over the world, kind of like he did with 11. I don't remember if it showed in the series Henry, not yet Vecna, creating the Upside Down, that copy of Hawkins. I feel like he did. I want to say he did. I mean, but if that's the case, why would he ask Elle again to stand by his side? Oh, well, maybe he did ask Will and Will turned him down, so he went back to Elle and be like,
Your voice is with me.
But more importantly, why does Vecna need a partner? Why does Vecna need a comrade? He's already created so much darkness and destruction on his own. I don't really see why I was gonna say the dude, but he's not a dude anymore, he's a monster. I mean, before he arrived in the Upside Down, Will didn't have any superpowers. Unlike Henry before he became Vecna, he had pre-existing supernatural powers as a human. So no, I think Vecna created the Upside Down Hawkins, not Will. I mean, it seems that Will did get superpowers after being in the Upside Down. But as far as making the whole Hawkins, I highly doubt that. So now that we've gotten through all that and our hopes and expectations are super duper high, probably unrealistic, I'm challenging you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. After season 5 comes out and you watch the whole thing through, type in the comments, "We called it," so we can pat ourselves on our beautiful little backs for speaking it into existence. So make sure that you save this video so that you can come back to it easily. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and
subscribe!
I'm gonna be doing fun shit when I reach a couple milestones on this channel that are gonna be linked in the description, what they actually are. So be sure to find wherever it says subscribe on your screen and take your little finger or your little mouse and just go bing, so that you can get notified every Friday. That's when I post, every Friday. All right, now back to the season 5 countdown. Bye.